Well, next up, Great Britain #1, Sean Olsen and his brakeman Lenny Paul. They were in 9th place after the first heat. They had a first heat time of 56.69, but they are off the pace already. 11 hundredths in back of the time of Jim Herbrick. It's a bit of a disappointment. Lenny Paul pushing for many years for Mark Tout. They were among the top 5 or 6 in the world. They are, though, better four-man pushers. Olsen, 30 years old, from Beverly, England. So far this season, he has finished in the top 10 in 4 out of 5 races, including a 4th place in Cortina, Italy. Not a good run in the works right now, though. Around the Kreisel curve, a fairly clean exit, and the split time of Jim Herbrick's 47.50, and Olsen considerably in back of that. Great Britain #1 to the finish. 47.3 for the heat. Combined time, not good enough to pass that man. Jim Herbrick of the USA continues to hold on to the lead. 153.99 for Great Britain. Now we look at them out of curve 9 as they make the entrance into the Kreisel. The brakeman's head tucked low. They were smooth there, but not smooth enough, unfortunately, to take over first place. Jim Herbrick in the lead for the United States, but back up to the top we go, and here's a team having a good week here in Calgary. Czech Republic #1, Jiří Dimura and his brakeman Pavel Polumsky. The Czech Republic having a great week. Both sleds still ahead are their teammates. Well, the start time was not that good. This is a driver who once won the Monaco World Push Championships several years ago. That's the summer dryland competition held each year, hosted by Prince Albert. Now, upcoming is always a tricky portion of this track. Around here, into the next curve, and watch this exit. Smooth, very good. 121 kilometers an hour, so a good run in the making here for the Czech Republic. This is a team that really lacks in the funding. We talk about athletic ability and we talk about driving ability, but the teams need the funding. They need the money, and the Czech Republic has had an uphill battle, but right now they're downhill with a first place time of 153.69 by a safe margin ahead of the Americans, 16 hundredths of a second their advantage. The Czech Republic has moved into position #1. Look at the runner tips we talked about earlier, how they are straight, not wavering, and really a good shot of the speed of these sleds. 153.69, Dimura and Polumsky have the lead. Now back up, 3 American sleds ending up in the top 10 after the first heat. And USA sled #3, the up-and-coming American, Tuffy Latour. His brakeman, Darren Steele, trying to improve upon a 7th place after the first heat. Still really not among the top 8 or 9 best starting teams in the world. 5.19, respectable for this fairly competent driver. The brakeman with his head and body planted downhill, not wavering back and forth. Again, every 100th of a second counts in the sport of bobsleigh. Tuffy Latour's grandfather, a competitor for the United States back in the 1940s and 50s. Perfect example of the tradition of this sport, passing it on from generation to generation. Ooh, there is a bit of a skid and a touch as he enters the Kreisel. One more of these out of this curve and he can write off this heat. That is smooth. Latour's problem, as is the case with so many inexperienced drivers, is putting 2 good heats together. Often he'll have a 4th place after the first heat, drop to 8th. Top finish so far this year, 5th place, but he is not going to move into the lead here. The Czech Republic and Jiří Dimura, pictured right there, stay out in front, and the USA moves back at least 1 spot. Well, Tuffy Latour here with the bit of the problem out of curve 9, compensates for it rather quickly, but the time was lost at this point. And you can see brakeman Darren Steele not enjoying the view at this point, just trying to generate a little extra speed. 153.75, the final time for USA #3. So Jiří Dimura and Pavel Polumsky hold on to the lead. Now the four-man race here will not take place because this was the condition yesterday of the track which forced postponement of this two-man competition. In fact, in each of the past 2 days, the warm temperatures have created this problem, the hot sun, and as a result, this two-man race was pushed back 2 days. Now the track workers have done a great job in getting this thing ready, but because of all of this, there is no time to run the four-man race. That will be held next week in Calgary. But we will continue with this exciting two-man competition when we return.
If you want full office suite power at a word processor price, look no further than Corel WordPerfect Suite. Corel WordPerfect Suite includes an exceptionally intelligent word processor, an award-winning spreadsheet, amazing presentation graphics, plus business graphics and utilities, hundreds of fonts and thousands of clip art images. Corel WordPerfect Suite delivers office suite power at a word processor price.
Back here in Calgary, Canada, ESPN's coverage of the Corel World Cup two-man bobsleigh competition, and we're down to the 6 sleds who had the 6 best times after the first heat. Czech Republic number 2, having the race of their life. Pavel Puskar and Jan Kobian. Their teammates have the lead down at the bottom, and they have the best start time so far. What has gotten into these guys? Puskar and Kobian. Now, one thing that the Czech Republic has going for it is experience. The 4 athletes that comprise the two-man sleds have been around this circuit for 7 or 8 years now. 26.13, the split time, and now they're a 1/10 of a second back. Puskar has done no better than 17th place so far, so he indeed is having the race of his life, and he is clean right there out of 9. Will he do it again out of the Kreisel? 47.42 the split. He is clean, and he is zipping at a good clip. 47.50, now 0.08 of a second back. He needs a time of 57.07 at the finish to better his teammate. 57.08 by 100th of a second. His teammate, Jiří Demura, stays in first place. The Czech Republic currently holds down the top 2 positions. And there is teamwork and camaraderie at its best. Now this, as I mentioned, was the race of this young pilot's life. Pavel Puskar and Jan Kobian will celebrate a top 6 finish, by far their best of the season. 1:53.70 their finish time. And it's his teammate, Jiří Demura, that holds on to the lead, but quickly to the top we go. Germany number 1, Sepp Dastaller and Karsten Ambach. Last year they finished 3rd in the World Cup. This year they'd much rather forget. They are currently ranked 3rd in the World Cup. There's a look at Christoph Langen, the great German champion teammate in the background. They're currently 3rd in the World Cup, but really the Germans have been hard-pressed to even get on the medal podium this 1 year after Langen virtually ate up the tour himself on this very track at the World Championships last year. Christoph Langen won the 2-man championship easily. Oh, all sorts of problems there for Dastaller. And Langen won the 4-man event. But look what's happening here. This is what you call a Germany slump in 2-man bobsleigh. This from the nation which has certainly been the best in this sport over the past 15 years. And they are way off the pack. They will fall behind both Czech Republic sleds into 4th place. So Jiří Demura continues his celebration now with the other driver, Pavel Puskar. They hold the top 2 positions, and they are celebrating in Prague today. A look at the standings. The Czech Republic, 1:53.69 ahead of their teammates. The USA currently in 3rd. Still ahead, the top 4 sleds. Now this Canada Olympic Park is located alongside the Olympic Hall of Fame. And in the Olympic Hall of Fame is the always fun bobsled simulator. Believe it or not, that's me checking out the fun there. It gives the drivers a chance to practice their skills and the spectators an opportunity to have a good time.
If you want full office suite power at a word processor price, look no further than Corel WordPerfect Suite. Corel WordPerfect Suite includes an exceptionally intelligent word processor, an award-winning spreadsheet, amazing presentation graphics. Plus,
Beautiful, baby.
business graphics and utilities, hundreds of fonts and thousands of clip art images. Corel WordPerfect Suite delivers Office Suite power at a word processor price.
Jiří Zamora of the Czech Republic, the surprise front-runner here in Calgary, but we have our top 4 sleds still to come. And Chris Laurie and Ian Danny already underway. They were in 4th place after the first heat. This has by far been Chris Laurie's best showing in an otherwise disappointing season. Ian Danny right there pushing behind. A new brakeman to Laurie, his regular crew member Sheridan Baptiste, currently nursing an injury. 19.16. Ooh, he is way in back right now. Now, Chris Laurie is certainly familiar with this track. A former World Cup 4-man champion and 4-man as well as overall champion in past years. Laurie hinted retirement heading into this year and hints at a bit of a skid and bump there, but recovers well as the sled now exits the Kreisel. Smooth. Chris Laurie trying to maintain at least his top 4 showing, but the Czech Republic has certainly shown that they put down 2 great runs. They have the top 2 positions at the finish. Needs a 57.12, and he does it by 0.13 of a second. So the celebration finally ends with a handshake or a high five by the 2 Czech drivers. They walk away from the podium while the Canadians move out in front. Now Chris Laurie now, along with Wolfgang Hoppe of Germany, the veteran of the entire World Cup bobsleigh circuit. It is very rare he makes a mistake. And here he is in the final reaches of speeds of 130 kilometers an hour. And that small bump happened after he crossed the timeline. 153.56. Canada 2 moves into the lead. 3 sleds remain, and they are the 3 big champions of this sport presently. Italy number 1, Gunther Huber and Antonio Tartaglia. Alongside his great driving ability, Huber and company have improved dramatically with their starts this year. As you can see, the best start so far, a 5.13. Antonio Tartaglia, the longtime brakeman for Huber, one of the biggest and strongest athletes on the entire Corel World Cup circuit. Huber has won just 1 race this year, but his worst finish has been a 5th place. So consistency is what has catapulted him to the top of the World Cup standings. You will not see a mistake from this driver. Now 0.12 of a second ahead of Chris Laurie. Out of the Kreisel and smooth once again. His first heat time of 56.54 was just 0.03 ahead of Chris Laurie, but as you can see, he's making up all sorts of time here in heat number 2. 0.17 at the second to last split, and around the finish easily 56.83. He is the new leader here with 2 sleds remaining. Huber and Tartaglia rarely finish out of the top 3, and once again they have won at least a bronze medal here in Calgary. He is an experienced driver, a veteran of this sport as well as the sport of luge, where his brothers are champions. So they know their ice surfaces and their tricky turns on the tracks around the world. Total time for Italy number 1, 153.37. They have the lead. Well, now the race really heats up. We go to our final 2 sleds, and getting ready up at the top now, USA number 1, Brian Scheimer and his brakeman Robert Olesen. This is a team that is familiar with success and familiar with strong starts. Monte Carlo and the World Push Championships hosted by Prince Albert. This was this past fall under the bright sunshine and the warm temperatures. Donning shorts and t-shirts, Scheimer and Olesen cruised to the victory in the 2-man. In fact, the Americans won the 4-man as well and enjoyed the celebrations of the Monte Carlo fans. Now we're back live in Calgary, and certainly we expect to see a great start, and we do. 5.12, 1/100th of a second better than the Italians. Robert Olesen, a new brakeman to Scheimer this year. Scheimer, in fact, earlier this year won his first 2-man race with Randy Jones behind him. 26.06. This should be tight between the 2 drivers, the Italian and the American. You can see Scheimer now has the slight advantage. He does have a safe lead. Oh, but he has a problem there. A problem out at 9. Let's see how he recovers. He's got some good speed going here. And a nice exit there. So his advantage over Huber in the first heat is now paying dividends, but he's still 500ths behind this heat. This is going to be tight to the finish. And he does it by just 900ths of a second. So thanks to a good first heat, Brian Scheimer holds on to his position as the Italians look disappointed. Scheimer in first place ahead of Huber and Laurie, but the Canadian flag flies high for a reason. Still ahead, our final sled, Canada's Pierre Lueders, going for his 3rd win of the season and his 4th victory in 5 years on his home track. Stay with us as the Corel World Cup Bobsleigh Tour continues.
If you want full office suite power at a word processor price, look no further than Corel WordPerfect Suite. Corel WordPerfect Suite includes an exceptionally intelligent word processor, an award-winning spreadsheet, amazing presentation graphics, plus business graphics and utilities, hundreds of fonts and thousands of clip art images. Corel WordPerfect Suite delivers office suite power at a word processor price.
World Cup Bobsleigh is being brought to you by Corel Draw 7. Productivity, power, and precision. Well, back here at Canada Olympic Park in Calgary, those are the standings with 1 sled remaining. The Americans hold the lead, then the Italians and Canada 2, but to the top we go for Canada sled number 1. Pierre Lueders and his brakeman Dave McEachran. You see the time they need for victory, 57.13. And the way this man slides on his home track, it shouldn't be a problem. Check out this start time.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, fastest pusher in the world.
5.09, and if you heard the public address system, a little hometown pride, they are indeed the fastest pushers in the world.
They are second overall in the world.
Lueders and McEachran coming off of a bit of a disappointment at the World Championships despite a remarkable 4th heat. They had some problems in the early going and finished out of the medals. All the same, he has been the top 2-man pilot all season long, despite trailing Huber in the standings. A bump there, but great speed, 121.2 kilometers an hour. He and Brian Scheimer have each won 2 races this season. Scheimer is at the finish, currently in first place, but Pierre Lueders and Dave McEachran are in the midst of a remarkable run. Around the finish, they've done it easily. 56.76, 152.91. Canada 1 has captured the Corel World Cup 2-man of Calgary. So the brilliant driving of Pierre Lueders, a driver who sometimes is known and prone to make mistakes, is coupled with his great start time and a nice recovery there. And to the victors go the spoils and the pumped fists at the finish line for Canada 1, the winners on their home track.
Come on, let's go, Greg.
So a check at the final standings here in Calgary. Canada number 1. Pierre Lueders and Dave McEachran take the title by 3700ths of a second ahead of Brian Scheimer. Huber in 3rd. Great showing by the Czech Republic, but the man of the hour is Pierre Lueders, who has won once again on his home track.
Well, I don't know if it's not like I've never left, but it's true. You know, we haven't been on the track since October, so really it took a while to get back into the mode in terms of you know, letting the sled run and trying to be fast. But I've done it so many times here, and you know, like I say again, we had great starts, and that makes it really easy. You can just basically let her ride down.
The Corel World Cup standings are getting even tighter with 1 event left in 2-man. Huber and Lueders are tight in their battle for the championship. Marcel Rohner with just 5 points, his advantage over Hoppe. 2 4-man races still to come. And in the overall, well, it's a little safer, the lead for Huber, with Lueders and Scheimer currently in 2nd and 3rd place. Well, that will wrap things up from Canada Olympic Park in Calgary. The World Cup finale comes to you next from Nagano, Japan. That's where we're headed. We'll see you there. Until then, thanks for joining us. So long from Calgary.